Golden morning sunlight flooded the savannah. Leo stood atop a termite mound, head held high. He opened his mouth wide and let out a roar that echoed across the plains. 3 butterflies scattered into the sky at the sound, beside him. His companion sat propped against a stone, watching as Leo struck a pose of pure strength. Then, the call came from behind. "Leo, check up with Dr. Dot today." The roar died in his throat, replaced instantly by a tiny, trembling squeak. Leo froze. His ears flattened hard against his skull. The confidence vanished. He scrambled backward, sliding down the side of the mound until only his wide amber eyes remained visible above the dirt. He pulled his paws against his nose, shivering. "Doctor?" Leo whispered to the dry grass. Today? The world that had felt so wide and welcoming moments ago now felt like a cage. He pressed his back into the earth, desperate to disappear, waiting for the inevitable arrival of the afternoon he dreaded most. Mama moved to the base of the mound. She reached out, parting the golden hair where Leo had hidden his face. He clutched his companion, Rory, tightly to his chest. Mama looked at the toy, then back to the cub. "What if it is scary?" Leo asked, his voice barely audible. "What if the little pinch hurts?" Mama knelt on the grass, inviting him to join her. She took the toy and laid it flat. "Come," she said, "let us see how it works." Leo watched, his amber eyes wide. She used a flat flower as a mirror. She moved it gently over the toy's ears. She pressed her ear against the toy's chest to listen. Leo crept closer, leaning in to see the process. When she mimicked the tiny pinch on the toy's arm, Leo reached out to tap the same spot. He saw that nothing broke, nothing crumbled, and the toy remained exactly as it was. The tension in his shoulders dropped. He looked at the toy, then at his own paw, realizing the unknown was becoming familiar. The sharp edges of his anxiety began to soften into simple curiosity. Mama saw the shift in his posture and reached for his paw. She held it firmly in her own. "Listen closely, Leo. When the moment comes, we have a trick." Leo looked up, his breathing slowing to match hers. "Squeeze my paw," she began, her voice steady as the morning wind. 1, 2, 3. Brave as a lion. That is M.E. Leo repeated the words, testing the weight of them. He squeezed her paw, once, twice, 3 times. He felt the firm pressure of her grip, then gave his own small chest a proud, rhythmic thump. The fear did not vanish, but it moved aside. He stood up, his ears rising halfway, no longer pinned flat against his head. He looked at his paw, then back at Mama. 1, 2, 3, he whispered, squeezing his own fingers to find the strength. He practiced the movement again, his eyes narrowing with newfound focus. He was not just waiting for the checkup anymore. He was preparing for it. He took a deep breath, his small chest puffing out. And for the first time that day, his tail gave a confident, singular flick against the grass. The baobab tree loomed ahead, its massive trunk twisted like ancient rope against the bright sky. At its base, the round door stood firmly closed. It was just a door, made of carved wood and smooth bark. But to Leo, it looked like a wall. His paws stopped moving of their own accord. The grass crunched under his feet as he shifted his weight, trying to find a reason to step back. His ears flattened, sliding down until they were nearly hidden by his mane. The silence of the tree was heavy, broken only by the distant rustle of leaves. Mama stood by the door, waiting. She did not push. She did not pull. She simply waited for him to catch up to his own courage. Leo looked at the wood, then at his feet, then back at the door. His heart thumped against his ribs, a frantic, uneven rhythm. He felt the familiar cold prickle of hesitation spreading through his limbs. He reached out, his paw hovering inches from the handle, then snatched it back. He closed his eyes, grounding himself in the dirt beneath his toes. He took a long, shaky breath, reached for Mama's paw, and squeezed. 1, 2, 3. Brave as a lion, that is M.E., he pushed. The door groaned, swung inward, and revealed the light within. Inside, the air held the sweet, warm scent of honey tea. Leo stood frozen, his eyes darting toward a small zebra named Zuri, who hid behind her own mother. They exchanged a look of mutual uncertainty. Then, the room whirred with motion. Dr. Dot, A tiny meerkat zipped into view wearing a white coat, a sunflower pin, and a glowing mirror headband. She did not loom. She hopped onto a wooden stool to meet Leo eye to eye and shook his paw with both of hers. "No surprises today," she chirped. She pulled out a tiny lantern that pulsed with a soft, warm light like a captured firefly. She waved it near Leo's ear. It tickled. Leo let out a startled, high-pitched giggle. The tension in his shoulders vanished. Next came a flower-shaped device that rested gently against his chest. My, the doctor exclaimed. "A roar-strong heart!" Leo grinned, his tail giving an involuntary happy flick. A measuring vine confirmed he had grown 2 whole mangoes taller since his last visit. The scary clinic had dissolved into a game. Leo looked at the doctor, then at his own paws, realizing he was actually enjoying himself. Dr. Dot reached behind her ear and pulled out the last tool, a tiny thornberry pin topped with a bright yellow flower. The room seemed to go quiet for a heartbeat. Leo felt his stomach tighten, a small, cold echo of his earlier fear. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He reached out and grabbed Mama's paw, his grip firm and desperate. "Squeeze my paw. 1, 2, 3. Brave as a lion. That is M-E." He squeezed. Eyes squeezed shut, bracing for a mountain of pain. A quick, sharp prick touched his arm, and then it was over. Leo opened his eyes. He blinked, staring at the tiny spot on his skin. "That is it?" he asked, his voice rising in disbelief. He let out a loud, genuine laugh that filled the room. Dr. Dot pressed a soft leaf plaster with a sun printed on it over the spot. Leo reached into the jar, pulled out a gold star, and pressed it firmly onto his chest. He stood up, shoulders back, chest puffed out until he felt twice his size. He was not just a cub anymore. He was a lion who had faced the thorn and won. Stepping out of the baobab tree, Leo saw Zuri still trembling near the entrance. Her hooves shuffled in the dust, her gaze fixed on the ground. Leo walked over, his own chest puffed out with the weight of his gold star. He knelt down, bringing his face level with hers, and held out his paw. "Squeeze my paw. 1, 2, 3. Brave as a lion, that is M-E, he whispered. Zuri looked at his sunplaster, then at the gold star on his chest. Slowly, she reached out and squeezed his paw. They counted together. Zuri gave her small chest a hesitant thump with her hoof. Leo showed her his rewards, his tail flicking with encouragement. Zuri's ears perked up, and her tailbow began to bounce as she finally trotted toward the clinic door. Leo headed home. Back at the termite mound, he stood tall, his mane catching the golden savanna breeze. He opened his mouth and let out his biggest, loudest, doctor-checked roar. He flopped down against his mother's side, feeling the warmth of the earth. He realized then that brave was not about never being scared. It was about squeezing a paw, counting to 3, and roaring anyway.